Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Muscle Building Mastery Podcast. This is episode, I want to say episode 13 or 14. We're getting relatively double digits now, though. And I'm super excited to be back here with you on the Muscle Building Mastery Podcast. My name's Andy Clements. If it's your first time listening, welcome. Please hit the subscribe button on YouTube or the subscribe button on iTunes or Spotify or wherever you're watching or listening to this, and because we're going to be releasing new episodes every single day. So, on today's episode of the podcast, it's going to be more of like a documentary style, or me documenting some of the things I'm doing right now and some of the lessons that I want to share and that I've learned along the way, right? Because I think that's a good way of releasing some content for you guys on this podcast, is me documenting the things I've done in the past and the things that I'm doing now, the lessons I've learned and I'm learning, so you guys can sort of follow along with me and implement it into your own training and your own nutrition and your own muscle building journey, right? Okay, so what I want to share with you today is kind of something I'm up to at the minute. It's kind of what I'm doing right now. So alongside running my business and producing content for the podcast and all this kind of stuff, the other big thing that's going on in my life right now is I am doing a degree in what's called health sciences. And health sciences is kind of like an all-encompassing base level science degree, right? Purely geared at human health and human physiology. And you might think, if you're interested in muscle building, you're interested in teaching muscle building, why are you doing health sciences? Like, well, you're not going to be a doctor, right? And I'm like, no, I don't. It's nothing to do with that, right? The reason that I chose, and I researched it really heavily before I went into anything like this. I spent probably the best part of a couple of years really deciding what I wanted to do and where I wanted to progress next in my own understanding of my own research, my own knowledge. And the reason that I decided and settled on health sciences is because I knew that I was in the muscle building area, right? And this is what I was into in myself, and this is what I had a real passion to get out to the world and help the rest of the world and the people who want to build muscle really start stacking on muscle and strength and size and all the rest of that stuff. So what I came to realize a couple of years ago now was health is not something separate, right? Health is not something that just kind of slows us down when it's not in check, right? Because obviously we all know that health is a barrier if it's not right? Because when we get ill, when we get sick, or we get a cold, or we get the flu, or whatever's going on, we get COVID, whatever's going on, that's obviously going to stop us training. It's going to slow us down in our muscle building goals. That's obvious. We know that, right? But what we don't always know is that suboptimal health, or health that isn't quite as good as it could be, or it should be, can slow us down from building muscle as well. And there's a whole sort of massive sort of ocean of rabbit holes we could go down there. But that's the main point, that's the main key takeaway, is that if you don't pay attention to your health, you are leaving massive amounts of gains on the table. You are leaving massive amounts of muscle building, not only because you're more likely to get sick and miss the gym, but also because your hormones will be out of whack. You won't be your body won't be as efficient at functioning and performing its daily tasks, and therefore being able to partition the nutrients that you take in and push them to the right areas, and recover from workouts and sleep better and manage your stress and keep your nervous system in check. And there's just, like I say, there's a whole ocean of rabbit holes we can go down with every single one. I'm sure I'll touch on every single one of those rabbit holes in future podcasts, but what I wanted you to know is where my focus is now, okay? Because I kind of think that in all areas of life, success leaves clues, right? So success leaves clues, and what that means is that if you look at the people that have success in a certain area, so let's take, for example, if you look at somebody who has success in business, or if you look at someone who has a successful relationship, right? Success leaves clues. So if you're looking at, let's say, Richard Brunson, or one of the guys that I'm learning off right now and I'm following in business, Russell Brunson, right? He has a really successful business, and his business is worth like over $1 billion or something ridiculous. But if you look at what he's doing on a daily basis, you'll find some really helpful little nuggets there that will help you to follow in his footsteps. That's what you want to do, right? Because it's not about copying, but if you emulate what successful people do, I think it was Tony Robbins that said this, if you emulate what successful people do, then you will start to achieve their success as well, because it's simply a case of keeping up the right habits and the right actions. So that applies to the muscle building world as well. So when I first got started, I was looking at the people who were successful in the world of muscle building, and I was looking at how can I emulate what they do, not how can I copy what they do. Like I'm not wanting to, just go in and do their exact workout or go in and follow their exact diet plan, but what's the kind of general principles that they're following, if that makes sense. So it's more about sort of looking, like I say, at what general principles they're following. And at the minute, the general principle that I've been following for the last couple of years is, yes, your training program is important. Yes, your diet program is important. But those are the two things that like you maybe throw supplements in there as well. Supplements kind of important. But those are the 2 or 3 things that everybody talks about. And yes, I am going to spend time, and I already have spent time on this podcast in previous episodes, and I will in future episodes, talking about training programs, talking about nutrition and nutrition programs, talking about supplementation. But they are just small parts of the bigger picture. And the bigger picture here, for me, and in the muscle building world, is make sure you look after your health. Make sure you learn about how to look after your health, and make sure you take steps to look after your health. So you don't have to go and do a degree like I'm doing. I'm taking it to like a bit of a silly level, right? Okay, because I want to really geek out on this stuff, and I want to really know everything there is to know, so I can be able to distill the small little lessons that I've been learning out of this university degree, and then take it to you guys and put it in hopefully simple forms where you can take it and action it and use it to build more muscle and strength. So yeah, just make sure that you're emulating successful people. Make sure that you're following in the footsteps of people who you want to be like. And in the context of what I'm doing right now, pay attention to health. And if there's any like real tangible takeaways that I can give you right now, it's the following. There's maybe a few different things that you want to pay attention to. First of all, your stress. Now, if you're under immense stress and pressure, I would strongly suggest that you take some time to see if you can manage that in any kind of way, and see if you can look after yourself and give yourself a bit of a break. So if you're under immense stress and pressure at work, and you know there's nothing you can do about that, then make sure your home life is as chilled and relaxed as it possibly can be, because you don't want to have a stressful home life and a stressful work life, because that's just going to lead you to sort of burn out your nervous system. And when you burn out your nervous system, you've got no energy left to train, right? Because we need to harness the power of our nervous system in the gym. That's how it works. So if you're under immense stress, just know that every bit of stress that you're under outside of the gym is taking away from the stress that you're able to create and generate inside the gym, because there's 2 different typs of stress. There's eustress, which is the good kind of stress we need for training, and there's distress, which is the bad stress that we kind of experience outside the gym a lot of the time. So that's the stress management part of it, and I'll talk about that. I'll go deep on that in a future episode. I'll definitely give you more information on that, but that's just an overview of that. The second thing is sleep. Sleep is huge. I cannot stress this enough. Sleep is a massive part of building muscle. Sleep is how we recover. It's a massive part of health in general. You know, if you're undersleeping chronically and you're getting less than like 6 hours sleep a night maybe on a consistent basis over the course of years, then you're going to increase your risk of a massive list of different diseases that could kill you. But for the context of this, your muscle building, sleep is the primary source of recovery from workouts. If you're not sleeping properly, you're not recovering from your workouts, which means you can't get in the gym quick enough to get the frequency you need to grow. Okay, so it's as simple as that. Get your sleep right, you'll be able to recover and grow your muscle and get your muscle in a state of readiness to be able to train the next time. Okay, so again, I'll go deep on sleep in a future episode, but that's another thing that you need to pay attention to. And all these things, maybe the third thing would be your hormonal balance. So that might include looking at blood tests. It might include just paying attention to your energy levels and all that kind of stuff. So there's a myriad of stuff. I could go all day on this, but what I want you to know is there's more than training and nutrition that you need to pay attention to if you want to really nail your muscle building. And I know it's cool to talk about training, and it's cool to talk about diet, and cool to talk about supplementation, and it's not necessarily as cool or sexy to talk about health, right? Not in the muscle building space. It isn't, because it doesn't farm in the Instagram likes. It's not something that people can use to like sell workout programs or whatever, but it works. And if you think about it in this context, right, if you think about if two people follow the exact same diet and the exact same training program, but one person has an extremely efficient functioning body and functioning system, right, that's healthy, and the other person has neglected their health for years and continues to do so, and doesn't sleep properly, and is under a hell of a lot of stress, and is tired all the time, and all the rest of that stuff, but they follow the same training and diet program, who gets the best results? It's not hard to work out, is it? It's the person who looks after themselves and the person who optimizes their health that will get a million times better results than the person that doesn't. Because that's how important optimizing your health is. If you don't optimize your health, if you don't take care of yourself and actually look after the things that need looking after, you're going to really, really struggle. You're going to come unstuck pretty quick when it comes to building muscle, because building muscle requires a certain amount of stress to be placed on the body, and if you can't handle that stress because you're not looking after your health, it's game over. So I'll wrap that up there. I hope that made sense, guys. I hope it came across how kind of important it is for you guys to pay attention to your health when it comes to building muscle, and yeah, that's what I'm up to at the minute. So I hope you enjoyed that. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel or to this podcast. Leave me a review if it's possible for you to leave me a review on iTunes, and just an honest review. Let me know what you think and give me some feedback. And if you got any questions or anything that you would love me to cover in future podcasts, let me know. Drop it in the comments below if you're watching on YouTube. Send me a message or an email at info@andyclementsfitness.co.uk if you're listening on Spotify or iTunes or any other podcast platform. And yeah, awesome. I will see you guys in the next episode, which I think will be episode 15. So take care, guys. I'll see you next time on the Muscle Building Mastery Podcast.